You see, I don't have the best camera set up. I think it's a little tilted. I have a lighting system. Wasn't really thought out, but that's all I have, so we'll see where it goes.
Ever started a big fight just by asking a little question?
Yes. I might have a little bit of an experience with that.
Sometimes what you think is a simple question can instill fear in the heart of the person you're asking. Are we exclusive?
Okay, so for starters, I actually don't mind that question. Honestly, if someone's willing to ask me that question, I think it's a pretty good indicator that maybe they actually want to be with me, you know? So,
Commitment is a scary topic, but men and women are actually conditioned to think about it differently. Dr. Angela
okay.
Bass explains women are taught about marriage, family, happily ever after. And men are taught to be strong and independent, that they do not need anyone, that they do not cry, to be stoic.
You know, I can see that. Um, with a guy, the way you're taught how to act to be socially acceptable, um, it doesn't exactly it doesn't exactly work out very well. Not being able to open up to other people, it can cause a little bit of issues. So I get what they're saying.
What's your ex like? It's only natural to.
Oh god. Okay, so I'm not laughing from personal experience. I'm laughing at the question because I would imagine being in a relationship and getting asked that question. There's a lot of tricky area. You know, there's a lot of boundaries that people may or may not be comfortable with talking about. So if someone asked me that question, I think I would like them to answer it the same way I would, because I'm super self-conscious. So there's certain things I don't want to know. But honesty overall is the best policy, you know. I think there's a thing of being too honest. I think there are certain things that you just don't say, or that you could phrase differently if you just really wanted to. But I think what your ex is like, I think that's something that me as a guy, I don't hate the question. It just makes me a little nervous being asked that, because I start getting in my head because I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to say something and then have you take offense to it. If I ever asked you that question, or if someone else ever asked you that question, then you probably feel the same way. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So,
Be curious, but on this topic, it's easy to get jealous. If you feel comfortable with the fact that you both have histories, ask away. He will be more likely to share his stories with you and will inadvertently share details about his past at the same time. Where do you...
whoa. I don't know. I might be looking too far into it. That just seems kind of like a game. But I guess when you're talking about that kind of thing, it might have to be a game. I would hope not. I know from personal experience, normally when I asked my ex about her past, and it wasn't really something I was really wanting to know about. It was more something that got brought up in casual conversation. But when I asked my ex about, you know, her past and what she did with her previous boyfriends, it would always start off at one story, and then I would get caught up on something, and I would just ask more repeating questions about that one event, knowing that it was going to hurt my feelings. It's not a very good trait. It's not a very good trait that someone wants to have in a relationship or deal with in a relationship. So, don't. She's not wrong.
Where do you see us in 5 years? This is a question you'd likely ask a long-term partner when things feel like they might be at a standstill.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I know that if someone asked me, where do you see us in 5 years? Hopefully, if I'm with the person, if I decided to be with that person, if I decided to be in a relationship with that person, then obviously I would feel like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a long-term relationship. I don't want to jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. That's not what I want to do. Some people, that's how they are because they want to figure out what they want. They want to figure out what they like. Me, I'm not like that, which there's pros and cons to both. Don't get me wrong.
Ask him about his own goals, such as where he wants to live or where he wants to be in his career. This is a great way to find out about his bigger life plans and how you can make it happen together.
Oh God, goals? I don't have any of those. I don't even know what that is.
When can I meet your parents? This question doesn't just have to do with your relationship, but also his relationship with his family.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad I paused it there. So, talking about meeting someone's parents. Now that I have an experience being in a serious relationship, I have a bigger understanding about when to meet the parents. I don't think that you should just run out, unless that's the kind of person you are. I don't think you should just run right up to them and just introduce yourself, because there's good and bad things with that. But I think overall, you want to make sure you're compatible with someone, and you want to make sure that you're actually going to be in a relationship with them, and that it's going to go somewhere before you even talk about meeting parents. I think there are some steps that might get lost in there. I know in my last relationship I kind of rushed into things, so I can only speak for one half of the relationship, but for the guy, it's a lot harder to meet the parents because you have all this pressure building up before you even do that, because or it's kind of stereotyped that the dad is going to be a certain way towards you. I'll keep getting out of frame. And there's kind of a mixture of different vibes that the mom will have towards you, but most of the time, whenever you're meeting the dad, it's not a good thing. It is, but it isn't. I would like to know another person's perspective of this, guy or girl, male or female, because I think it'd be interesting to kind of see that side of it.
What do you want to do tonight? Seems simple, right? But we've all seen how quickly it can blow up and create unnecessary tension. Dr. Bass explains, partners can be critical, bossy, and aggressive, unconsciously. And if a man has had a long day, these questions force him to think when he may be mentally exhausted. So what's the solution?
Okay, I know I laughed. I laughed because I agree with that, and I just thought it was funny. If you're asking me what I want to do, I think I had a long day at work. I don't want to go anywhere. I'll be honest. I would love to stay home, watch a movie, play video games, play my guitar, just spend time with you, talk to you. I don't care. You ask me what I want to do, not going to be a hard question. Just I want to stay home. I want to spend time with you. There you go. That's not to say that I don't like going out. I'm just particular to what I'm being asked in this video. I would love to stay home.
Dr. Bass recommends taking turns. For instance, one week, one partner decides the activities, and the next week, the other. This takes the pressure off everyone and creates a healthy balance. Do you want to have kids? Relationship expert April Massini.
Okay. Again, only speak for me. Someday. Right now, no. But I do want some eventually. I don't know when the right time to ask that question would be. Obviously not on the first day. Oh, I don't know. Different people have different comfort levels. I guess asking anything, it isn't necessarily bad whenever you ask. I think it's probably mostly about different people. It's about your comfort levels, about what you're comfortable discussing. Do I want to have kids? Regardless of the answer, yes or no, or any other in-between answers, all you can do is be respectful. I think I feel like in the context of this video, I'm guessing the woman in the relationship wants to have kids. And that's why it's a bad thing to ask the guy. So, so that being said, about respecting each other's wishes, if the girl is ready to have kids and the guy's not, I guess all you can really do is talk about it. And if the guy doesn't... This is such a tricky subject. It's like, you come home, long day at work, girlfriend asks you, hey, what do you want to do? And you're like, I don't know, you know? And then suddenly they're like, hey, so I had a question, just nothing too big, really. I mean, you can say no, but I just wanted to know if you were wanting to have kids. It's like, what? Excuse me? And then obviously there are some follow-ups to that from both parties, and it's something you just have to talk about.
Dr. Bass explains, like anything else, I advise women to know themselves, their goals, values, aspirations, and be unapologetic. She says, first, skip the let's talk introduction and suggests asking things like, does he have nieces or nephews? What was the best and hardest part of his childhood? All this will give clues to the answer you seek. Do you think she's pretty?
Oh, God. I was about to comment on something that they just said, and then I hear that, and I have flashbacks. But yeah, you should never apologize for just asking questions in a relationship. Never apologize. Some people might look at it as you're being not sincere. You know, you might make the other person uncomfortable, but you should be able to communicate in a relationship as long as you'll have an understanding. I don't know if that's embarrassing or not. It's my comic book app. As long as you'll have an understanding about what you want in the relationship and where you want to go in the relationship, you can just talk. Like, it's okay to talk. It's okay to ask questions. Everyone's going to have a question. Everyone's going to be confused at some point. We're adults. And, you know, even if you're not an adult, I mean, really, you grow up, you get older, and you always think, oh, everyone knows what they're doing when they get older. You don't know what you're doing. You're just winging it. And that's really scary, you know? Becoming an adult and understanding that no one knows what the fuck is going on. It sucks. It's the world. Everyone feels like that. Don't worry about it. Don't apologize. Just live your life.
Do you think she's pretty? The response shouldn't shake the foundations of an already secure relationship, but she says there are certain...
Yes, I do agree with that. I've been asked that before, and I answered it wrong. You want to know what I said? This is what I said. I'll tell you kind of how the conversation went. I don't know if you can see, but we were in the bed. Nothing was going on. We were just laying down, just having a good time. We were just cuddling. And it was one of our coworkers. She scrolled and she saw an old picture of one of our coworkers. And she's like, hey, do you think she's pretty? And I looked at her because I knew what I wanted to say was wrong. I didn't say she was pretty. I'm not stupid, you know? But I looked at her and I said, honey, you're probably going to hate me for this. And please don't take it the wrong way. It's not that I think she's pretty. I love you. I'm with you. I want to be with you. But it's just, I don't think anyone's ugly. I'm not attracted to her. I don't want to be with her. I'm attracted to you. But I just think that it's kind of rude to call someone ugly. And that's not what I go for in a relationship. You know, I'm sure everyone's lizard brain. You know, there's some form of like unconsciousness in there where, you know, you prefer looks of one person over the other. Yes, obviously. But what I was trying to say is I don't go for someone based off their looks. You asked me if this girl was pretty, and it felt rude to call her ugly. So I just told her I wasn't attracted to her. That was my answer. Do you think she's pretty? I'm not attracted to her. And that's just a shortened version of my story. If you didn't want to hear it and you skipped through it, there you go. Let's just say it wasn't a very good answer. And y'all can let me know if y'all would have said something different. That's fine. Everyone has their own opinion. I think being asked that question now, being through this situation, having a bigger understanding of what a serious relationship is, would I answer it the same way? I think depending on who I was with, I would answer it differently.
There are certain situations where this type of direct communication is necessary. In the aftermath of an affair, partners should come clean about what they found attractive in others or what caused them to take steps outside the relationship.
I didn't even think about that. For those of you who don't know, I'm not going to say who the person is, and I'm not going to go into detail about what happened, but it didn't end well, and there are reasons why it didn't end well. And if you know me personally, I'll tell you, in like a direct message or not, if you don't already know. But I guess it's not completely bullshit when someone asks that question. If you are in a relationship with someone who has cheated on you, whether they're going to do it again, I can see where that would come into play, and I can see why you would ask that question.
Do you think we have enough sex? Dr. Bass explains, in terms of sexuality, men are taught that sex is everything. For some men, even a well-intentioned request or suggestion can be construed as not being good enough in bed. Instead, she recommends starting off with a sort of reassurance, starting with something like, I love when you do X, let's try this on top of X or in addition to X. Another.
I don't know if they were talking about the same thing whenever they continued to talk. I kind of got lost a little bit, but I think the original question was something along the lines of, do we have enough sex? Growing up as a guy in high school, in just any school, middle school, junior high, whatever, it's not exactly PG-13. You see a lot. Whether you take part in it or if you just observe it, you see a lot of guys who aren't exactly serious about having a relationship, and all they care about is sex. And with that being said, whether they're being with more than one person or sticking with the same person, there's a lot of people who are like that, who only care about one, two things, and that's the extent to it. I think it's about reading the room, requesting it, not requesting it, just kind of seeing where it goes, in a relationship or not in a relationship. And I think a large part of it is reading the room. It's different for different people. You know, one couple might be like rabbits, and the other one might be like some other animal that I don't know the name of that aren't like rabbits. You know, every relationship is different. I don't think that there's a set amount that you have to do in order to be with someone.